We want to ensure that every veteran across America, anybody who's eligible for their VA loan, can have access to the full scope of what the VA offers them as a home loan benefit.
Properties need to be in decent condition. In this book, there's an entire chapter on minimum property requirements. Believe it or not, it's a pretty thin chapter. And believe it or not, almost every single element in this chapter has nothing to do with properties we see, because it talks about stuff like pit privies. Does anybody know what a pit privy is? It's an outhouse. So there's guidelines for when you have an outhouse. We don't see a lot of that. What we see is what is covered in a first paragraph there that says basically the house needs to be safe, sound, sanitary. Those three magic words, and yes, they're pretty much at face value. So what is a safe house? If you don't think it's safe, neither will the appraiser. This is not about code enforcement of, hey, I'm buying a house from 1945, but it is about safety. So, hey, I'm buying a house from 1910, and I happen to look under the crawl space, and that foundation looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It's sort of scary. Is that safe or isn't it safe? The appraiser might sit there and go, I don't know. I'm not an expert at this. I'm going to have a required repair for a foundation person to say that it's safe because this is outside my normal ability. But if you see some dangling wires hanging from the ceiling where the chandelier used to be and you go, hey, nobody touched those, that's not safe. That's going to have to get fixed. Big surprise. The other things that come up a lot is fire issues. So earthquake-strapped water heaters, smoke detectors, the perimeter of the house between the garage and the house, the door needs to be a solid self-closing door. And that wall needs to be a fireproof wall. They're big on those type of things. So some examples, we had one that had a hole in the floor. That was literally a hole down to the basement. It was about a 2-foot by 3-foot hole. Is that safe? No. Exposed electrical stuff. There's no faceplate there. Fine, put a faceplate on. What does a faceplate cost? 87 cents at Home Depot? These are some of the type of repairs that we see. A sound house is a complete house. So all the pieces, parts need to be there, meaning floors need flooring, bathrooms need toilets, kitchens need all the built-ins, not the personal property. So real property needs to be there, double oven needs to be there, refrigerator, personal property, doesn't have to be there. Slide-in stoves and dishwashers are sort of, it can go both ways. We've seen appraisers call that one both ways. So a sound house is a complete house. This is also where we see stuff on broken windows, chipping paint. Actually, that's back under safety for pre-1978 chipping paint. Does it have lead in it or doesn't have lead in it? Those type of things. Sanitary. Think health issues. This is not, hey, my grandmother's coming over and I want to be able to eat off the floor clean. This is, I walked through the house, it smelled bad, the carpet felt damp. I'm pretty sure that if I slept here tonight, I would wake up in the morning with a cold. That's sanitary issues. Hey, I walked through the place and I could see where they had 8 kids and there was crayons melted all into the carpet. So what? And there was massive track patterns. So what? And in the other room, there was 22 red wine spills because the parents were compensating. So what? That's not a sanitary issue. Grandma owned the house for 40 years and she kept it in good condition, but she never upgraded it. So the carpets are shag, the cabinets are avocado green, and there's, wood paneling everywhere. So what? Is it safe? Is it sound? Is it sanitary? Close. You're fine. So that's the big deal with appraisals.